Today is Monday, June 8th. Normally I do these videos on a Tuesday, but it is supposed to rain all day tomorrow. So I thought I'd get this video in while it was not raining outside. Let's see if I can take you inside. Today the these chickens are 17 weeks old. But in here, let me introduce you to the 7-week-old Whiting True Blues. That one looks like a barred rock, but she's not, so we've named her Connie, the con artist. She is a Whiting True Blue like the rest of these. And these are blue egg layers. They are 7 weeks old. They can get in and out, but we've got this barred off where the big ones cannot get in with them. Just to make sure that they can get to their own food. And also just to make sure they're safe. They've been here for a few days now and everybody is getting along okay. But we just want them to be able to get away in case one of the bigger chickens decides to have a hissy fit and go after them. The term pecking order is a real thing. They have a pecking order, and they're going to keep the little ones in their place. This one really wants to get in there and get the food that the babies have. Still no eggs at this point. You ladies need to get on with it. It's been hot this week. Chickens are making quick work of the things being pulled out of the garden. They're enjoying the shaded parts of the yard. It's a little later in the day than I normally do these recordings, so it's hot in the sun. Mr. Knightley. And there's Nugget. Getting awful pretty, boys. She's under there taking a dust bath. And Mr. Knightley's here at my feet trying to figure out what in the world I'm doing in the chicken yard. I don't normally stand and do my videos down here, but it's hot in the sun. I just realized there's several under there taking advantage of the coolness. They find lots of bugs down in this part. Not sure if I've ever given you a view from this angle before, but this is down the back part of the chicken yard. Butts up to the forested part of our yard, side of our house over there. And all of this area behind, and then it goes all the way up past the shed in our yard. So they've got a nice big area to run in. Hello. Cape feathers are getting so long and pretty. Yeah, put on a show there. His tail feathers are starting to curl over. Oh goodness. Nugget just looks... Oh, he stood up. Nugget's tail feathers are getting really long. Took him a while to catch up to Mr. Knightley, but he just about has, and the part of his comb on his head is just a little more narrow, and Mr. Knightley's is a little thicker right on top of his head. So funny to have the peeping sound back again. start here with our butterfly pea flower, and you can see lots of new growth on it and even a little flower stalk starting. So that is finally taking off. Chia has reached that top rung there, so I'll be removing that cage soon. Sunflowers are getting majestic. They have grown taller than the stakes I have them tied to now, so they are well on their way. These sunflowers are supposed to get 10 to 12 feet tall. This one looks a little rough, but it looks way better than it did yesterday afternoon when it was completely wilted over. I came up to check on it, and when I stepped around it, it was very soft. And I found that a mole had been digging all around it. I think its roots had gotten disturbed by the mole during the heat of the day, which caused it to wilt over, but then it perked back up. Broccoli forest may be looking a little thin. That's because I pulled all those plants out. With the exception of this one, Broccoli romanesco. Still not sure if it's going to do anything, but it was so much smaller. It was planted later. I decided to give it a chance. But I pulled all the broccoli out. Those sticks were kind of supporting some that had tried to fall over. And I'm going to be planting in here tonight white scallop summer squash plants here. And then probably more over the course of time. But tonight I'm getting those 2 squash plants in. Here's an overall look at the kohlrabi, but now that the broccoli is gone, I'll get you down in here and get a good view of that one that's my biggest one. Looking forward to being able to try that. I did leave the Yodfrog broccoli back here, but I'm thinking it's going to come out as well. You can see that that looks more like it's ready to flower. I'm pretty sure that is not the way it should look based on the pictures I saw. So I'm probably just going to take it out tonight. You also know a big empty space here where all the lettuce used to be. Many of the heads were shooting up tall centers and therefore getting ready to flower, and I wanted to be sure to eat them before they turned bitter. So we pulled that out this week, got it all cleaned up and in the fridge. So it's there and very convenient to have salads right now. Trimmed back a lot of the kale and used it in a casserole this week, but it's still here and still growing well. So we'll keep harvesting from that till it bolts. The echinacea plants are getting big, and I'm hoping for some flowers soon. I've learned that melons take a lot longer than anything else, but these Atomi watermelons, personal size watermelons, are finally growing and putting off some big leaves. So looking forward to those growing. I know next year to plant those much later. Looky here at the acorn squash. I've actually trimmed back some of the leaves so they're not overlapping too badly. They're sending off all their tendrils and attaching to the trellis, so that is good. That's what we needed. Look at all those flower buds in there. Let's see if I can move this leaf so you can see that one's about to open. Noodle beans on this side of the trellis. Again, much smaller than their counterparts on the other side. And then here's the Armenian white cucumber. Bait alpha has a flower open on it, and 2 pickling cucumbers. I've eaten a lot of snap peas this week. You can see where they're missing, but got lots more on there. The peas on this side of the trellis are actually starting to get some height to them. Just trying to get them to hold on. They really like to flop out into the aisle, so getting them to stay there is, yeah, well, you can see it's a trick. This tall telephone pea is up and wrapping over the top now. Got several large peas on it. You can see this was the first one, and it's really plumped up. Get back and let you see just how tall that's gotten. Cucamelons are taking off. The noodle beans over here really grown this week. And onions are still doing well. You can see them amidst all the other green. My Kajari melon down here is also grown, at least doubled in size this week. Little mushroom garden growing. Here's one of the golden midget melons that I thought all died, and this one is rising from the ashes. All right, the beets, the golden beets, I'm still not seeing any bulbing up. But down here on the, let's see, these are the Detroit Red. And then here, the cylinder beets also. Salvia, starting to shoot up flower stalks. Let's see, right there, focus. They're looking good. Milkweed. Zinnias. Getting big there. Still don't see a flower head yet, but we're getting there. Chives and bee balm is huge. I did see a turnip I wanted to show you. Turnips really gotten bigger under there. They are huge. And I do want to show you this one that I'm saving for seed. Just see the size of the pods there. How much bigger they've gotten. My cannellini bean is growing up that stick there. The black beans are putting off nice little purple flowers. So those beans are soon to come. Zucchini. Had a few flowers on it so far. There's one there. There's one back in the back. So we're close on that one to getting some fruit. Herb bed, the chamomile has flowered. And this one's kind of fallen everywhere. Everything's growing really well. Strawberries, still putting off fruit. And I'll see if I can get you down there to see if I can focus on that one alpine strawberry back in there. Had a lot of flowers, so hoping for some fruit on that. These bush beans, I need to pull off these lower yellow leaves so the plant's not putting effort into those anymore, but look at that. Got some green beans coming on these two. And then the navy beans are flowering. Garlic is super close to harvest. Purple potatoes, yellow potatoes, and red potatoes. Sweet potatoes are starting to vine out nicely. It's getting exciting now. Almost every tomato plant has fruit on it. Not these first couple. Triple crops are still focused on growing. Abe Lincoln has got some blooms. The Amana. Amana's huge. Lots of blooms. So you can see them. Dr. Witchy. Wow, the sun is just beating down right here. This is also a Dr. Witchy. I cut off all the leaf stalks off of that Bonnie Best, and we're just going to see what that sucker does for a few more days. Paul Robeson. Here's the one I want to show you. Isn't that beautiful? Black Beauty. And these black elephant tomatoes are just massive. Putting off just growth, at least 3 inches of new growth every day. And here's some of the fruit setting. These are going to be very, very large tomatoes. Jalapeno pepper plants have really taken off this week. Orange bell. And King of the North. My Brussels sprouts have clearly been attacked by cabbage worms this week. But they're still growing. Still not seeing any Brussels. Clemson spineless okra up front here. And Jing orange okra back here. And I am putting in 2 more okra plants in this spot this evening. Probably put another one over where I had the lettuce. Nasturtiums and marigolds are flowering this week. Most of the nasturtiums have flower buds on them. And one of the flowers has even opened. Absolutely beautiful. It's called an orchid cream nasturtium. I just noticed these this week. Can you see the little Japanese lantern looking fruits in here? These are the ground cherries. They've got lots of fruit on every plant. I didn't see them for a while because they grow under the leaves. Pink celery, I think, is getting very close to harvest actually. It's getting really tall. Cabbages, again, just waiting to see if they head up. They're huge, massive outer leaves, but just gonna see if we get ahead. Still no signs of actual cauliflower on any of the cauliflower plants. So may just have to wait till fall. Here's my Amish paste tomato plant. Back in the shade again, but you can see tomato down there. This is also an Amish paste, just a little smaller. This is a German lunchbox tomato plant. And I think it's got, oh yeah, tons of fruit hanging right there. Last week I was afraid I didn't have any fruit anywhere. This is Chadwick cherry plant. This big one right there. Got a whole branch here that's got little fruit on each side. This tallest of all, it's grown to the top of the T-post this week. This is a black cherry. It's setting fruit as well. This is also a black cherry, just a smaller plant. These two are the yellow pear tomatoes. And, oh yeah, there's a fruit right there. It's the time of year where I do nothing but prune tomatoes. Like here on this blueberries, I'm going to pull out this sucker so we don't have any more plants gone wild. I have a few that have just absolutely gotten away from me. This blueberries tomato, and this as well is blueberries tomato, and look at those beautiful tomatoes coming out. This is the Brad's Atomic Grape that was the top of a plant that broke off. It's got flowers on it. And here's the Brad's Atomic Grape that's gone crazy on me because I missed a sucker and split into two. But we are having some fruit set. Focus. My hosta that's flowering is taking its own sweet time to open up. This is 8 of the 12 tomato suckers that I pulled off in the past week, letting them set roots. I mean, this one's already got flowers on it. It's kind of ridiculous. I don't know if I have room for them all, but we're going to try to find places. My lavender's doing well. This is the cayenne pepper plant. It's doing well. I need to move it out in the sun. Still getting lettuce from this box. That's about the last place I'm still getting lettuce from. This kind of kale is supposed to tolerate heat, but I'm starting to question that information because these seedlings just aren't doing anything. Green stalk is bursting. See that tiny Tim tomato? It's flowering like crazy. Lots of beans, and anywhere there's a blank space, there are now beans. I pulled out the carrots and actually had some little carrots on them. I am still getting lettuce from this green stalk, but those lettuce plants are just about done as well. Again, any blank spot has new beans planted. And here's the other two tiny Tim on top are small, but they are growing now. And this tiny Tim down here is flowering. Radish has gone wild. These have gone to seed. Oh, you can see I got a little pollinator there. But these have gone to seed, and I'm letting them do so. They go to seed just like the turnips, put off little pods. I don't know that I'm going to get any significant radish harvest from this last planting. Some of them went straight to seed. Others, I mean, I got a few of these. Yeah, they've got little tiny ones under there. But the rest, they just look really, really rough, laying over on long stems instead of forming bulbs. So I think I'm done with radishes for the summer. The purple lady bok choy back here are trying to grow. We'll see what happens. I decided to just cut across the top of all of these rows of lettuce because they were getting really tall and odd looking. I may get some more, like the Marvel of Four Seasons seems to keep sprouting back, but the others I don't think will. And I'm not sure how well the new rows of lettuce are going to do because they're just growing really slowly. I think it's just too hot. It's been ridiculous this week. Still got some small kale here. And the spinach is just pretty much done. Things I'm transplanting, these are the 2 white scallop squash that I'm going to put out where I pulled out the broccoli. Some more tomatoes. Just, I've shown you every week what this stuff is. It's still here, but I'm getting ready to transplant it. Didn't I say I needed to trim this dill? I'm doing that tonight. I did want you to see, I've got my arm fully extended above my head right now, but I did want you to see the flower heads. They're really pretty. It's just really pretty. It's hard to cut. The cumin, I don't know. I don't know if it's just dropping seeds on me or what. It looks kind of puny, but it does have these where it flowered. So that might be the seeds. I'm not sure. Parsley's looking good. Basil. I wish you all could smell this basil. Thai basil's got a really pretty flower on top. Cinnamon basil. And the holy basil is also sending up a flower stalk. It's my understanding that pollinators really love this, so I'm going to let that one flower. Blackberry plant has been flowering. The Swiss chard and collards have really grown quite a lot this. Oh, good, a dragonfly. Love to see dragonflies. Good bugs. All right, that's Swiss chard. Look at this. You see this? This is bindweed. And that bindweed is going to try to grow around and choke my Swiss chard and collards. Okay. So that is Swiss chard that's got a white stem with Swiss chard that's got a red stem right next to it. And then a collard. I really don't know. These seeds got all washed around, so that's why they're so packed so close together. But thankfully, both of these plants can handle some heat, so they're doing well. Believe it or not, I just recorded this entire section of the garden with it on pause instead of on record. Finished the thing and went back and realized I had done all this talking without the recording being on. But it's hot, so I had to go inside and put my hair up and come back out and do it again. These 2 sections of Blahilled bean plants. Again, I apologize down here. It's very hard to see the plants from this angle because all the grass growing on the path. But these 2 just are really stunted. They're not growing a lot, so I don't know if it's just this area or this. You can see how the dirt is really disturbed down here around the bottom of the plant, and I think it was a mole, to be real honest. I think it might be really disturbing these plants, so we'll see. But the rest of the plants down the row seem to be doing okay, so it could just be that this particular type of bean needs a lot more sun than it gets here. It does get full sun for several hours a day, but it might just be too shaded because, as you can see, the ones in the upper rows get sun for more hours of the day. Honeydew melons are finally starting to actually grow, and so I've learned that the melons just take a lot more heat. They start a lot slower. I thought they were more similar to squash, and unfortunately they are not. So next year I will know to plant those later. These are the Good Mother Stollard beans, which are the for dry beans, and they are growing, some of them really growing tall. The sugar baby bush melon that has been so small for so long is actually putting off true leaves now. Here's the difference between the squash and the pumpkin. These two are sugar pie pumpkins that were planted way later than the sugar baby bush melon. I think I said squash and pumpkin. I meant squash and melon. They are obviously much bigger than the melon is. These are my pole black beans, and I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but if you can see the stems going up the trellises, the stems are kind of purple, whereas the stems on these other beans that are not black beans are green. Apparently I needed a taller trellis. Going to have to start weaving these tops back down through the trellises, but these are Blue Lake poles here. These 4 sections. My 2 decorative gourd plants are getting nice and big. But if you want to see really big, looky here, I'll have to back up. That's a spaghetti squash plant that has just taken off. Here's the other spaghetti squash plant. You can see down in there the flowers, buds starting. And my final spaghetti squash plant. 3 or 4 sets of beans are Old Homestead. And then here you can see the Blahilled beans, which are the purple potted ones like I have on the other row. They're that one's up above the trellis. So again, I'm not sure if it's the sun or a mole, but you can see it's starting to flower. It's got purple flowers because these are purple potted beans. I want to make sure you see the flower on that Big Mac's pumpkin. Butternuts, super slow growing. I really think the Jack B. Little pumpkins are going to outpace the butternuts at this rate. And my hope is as these plants vine out, like this one has begun to, pretty sure this is the Long Island cheese. This one has started growing out. I'm taking it down, and as they start to vine, I'm going to try to push them to grow in the direction of the open spaces in this bed to act as a ground cover. Well, it's going to be another hot one today. I thought I was going to get out before the actual heat of the day started, but I failed. It's hot. I'm doing this one today though because it's supposed to rain all day tomorrow, so thought I'd try to get it while there was sun. Yeah, this week the amount of fruit showing up on these plants is incredible, so it's an exciting time. Thanks for watching.